All right, I will now begin this recording. We've recovered several data chips along with what appears to be a bygone helmet. The condition is fragile but intact enough to proceed. We're going to take a closer look at the material and then attempt to analyze the audio logs stored inside. Whatever's on these recordings, it might finally shed some light on the things that have happened in the past.
We were in Tumbler, a pitiful outpost, little more than a tavern and a scattering of shacks half buried in dust. The place reeked of stale drink and sweat, and yet it served as a shelter. Outside, the sun blazed too harshly for my paler eyes, forcing me to retreat deeper into the cool embrace of shadow. The bar was dim, and in that gloom I felt the comfort of my kind. At my side were my comrades. Carl the Judge, solid as a hammer he carried, and Kyra the Cuckoo, restless, always muttering curses under her breath. At the counter lingered figures with punched ears, silent but watchful, their eyes glinting with suspicion. Mother Dacroix sat in the corner, lips moving in silent prayer, and Magnus the Judge leaned against the wall, measuring the room with his gaze. Then he entered, a fat man, swollen with draughts and boasting, waving the slips of paper as though they were crowns. His laughter was loud, his arrogance louder. He flashed his wealth at the wrong people, and conflict followed quickly. Words sharpened into threats, threats into blows. The tavern shook with violence. Carl rose like judgment itself, hammer in hand, bringing it down on hats and skulls alike. Bone cracked under his fury. Kyra shrieked her curses, each word like venom spat into the chaos. I watched, cold, and when the dust settled, we stood over the broken bodies. Their foreheads bore scars where barcodes had once been, now slit away. No score. The sight twisted questions into my mind. Where had the counterfeit drafts come from? Why had they carried the stench of something larger? An artifact frenzy, whispers of relics buried in forgotten ruins. Vector. Ruins. The words haunted the silence after battle. Token, the chronicler, stepped forward, desperation in his eyes. He begged for our aid in chasing the counterfeit trail. Against better judgment, we agreed. Our path led us to the ruins beyond Tumbler. At the entrance, old runes scarred the stone. There is nothing left here. Lies written in rock. Inside, we found a charred corpse, burned beyond recognition, its flesh blackened and curling. A warning, perhaps, or a remnant of something worse. In the darkness that followed, Gianna appeared. Her voice carried the cadence of deception. Too smooth, too certain. She bore no mask, no mantle of a chronicler, yet she spoke as though she carried their secrets. She told us of the blacksmith, once a name of power, now exiled, embargoed, banished from memory. These ruins, she said, were his. We pressed deeper and found him. The blacksmith himself, bound not by chains but by fury. As we confronted him, the chroniclers descended, dragging Gianna in chains, their zeal burning hotter than truth. The blacksmith broke then, snapped like a beast unchained. His rage was primal, his charge unstoppable. He hurled himself upon the chroniclers, clawing, rending. Instinct guided me. I raised my weapon. A single shot cracked the air. Case the fuse fell, skull broken open, life extinguished in an instant. Silence followed, heavy and terrible. Then the truth surfaced like rot from water. The blacksmith was no traitor, but a test subject, a pawn in experiments he never chose. The counterfeit had been forced upon him, planted like poison in his hands, crafted to damn him. Still, questions claw at me. Who is Nullify? Why do we see the sickly symbol wherever deceit festers? What hand moves behind all of this? The chroniclers demanded answers, their voices sharp with accusation. But Carl answered them with steady words, cutting through the noise. He spoke truth, untangled lies, and cleansed the name of the blacksmith. Their doubt bent beneath his judgment. So we bound ourselves to the smith, not in trust, for trust is fragile and fleeting, but in a kind of friendship. A bond forged in ruins, in fire, in smoke. Fragile? Yes. But sometimes even fragile bonds can turn the course of what is to come.